Hello guys, hello girls, dudes and dudettes. Thank you for joining me today. Firstly I want to talk about Bethesda and their Fallout 4 game, which is going to be released very shortly, in a few months' time. The last video I made was moaning about the fact that the game is very expensive here in the UK and elsewhere, but Bethesda have actually reduced the price by £10, bringing it more or less in line with the price of Fallout 4 when it's released in America. In the United States, sorry. So thank you so much, Bethesda. It's not all good news. I've heard in Brazil, Australia, New Zealand, for example, where the game is still quite high. They haven't implemented a price reduction, but hopefully they will. But it was a very brave move, and Bethesda, you've gone up in my estimation even more than you already were, if that's even possible. So thanks once again, and I know I should have made this video a long time ago, but well done. I will even say that some of my friends didn't even know that the game costs £49.99 here, which equates to 77 or 80 US dollars. But it just proves that Bethesda acted very quickly. But anyway, on to the main point of this video, and that is crowdfunding, which has now become the bane of the gaming industry. I'm just looking at the screenshots that I've taken. I've taken screenshots because actually this highlights the point, because Windborne now, if you try to search on Steam, you will be shown a very short edited version of this original update of the game. Why they did that, I have no idea. Maybe it was to cover their backs. I don't know. But that's the reason why I take screenshots as proof that these things were actually stated. So Windborne is, or was rather, a game very similar to Minecraft, to Terraria. It was a building construction type game, a sandbox type thing. Sandbox, would you say? No, not really. It's a building game, and basically it was crowdfunded. I think it was via Kickstarter, I'm not entirely sure, but they turned around and said, oh, you know, we are not going to release the game anymore, and this is the reason why. So in the first paragraph it says, it is with a heavy heart that we announce we are closing down Windborne today. First, we want to say thank you to the community who has been so loyal, patient, and shared kind thoughts and ideas with us along the journey. Okay, that's fine. I thought that's perfectly fine. But then I moved down to the second paragraph, in which it states, we have attempted to secure the needed funding to finish the game in various avenues, and unfortunately, what was once a not so, what they're basically saying, it's been flooded with games of this style. And I thought to myself, you have got to be kidding me. Are you taking the piss? That is one of the lamest excuses I have ever heard for you not to release a game, for anyone not to release a game, because it's oversaturated perhaps. Even if it was oversaturated, people have invested their own money into this game. Don't you have any guilt or any feelings that you should try and obligate them, these funds that you have received? Obviously not. So that in itself really stunk in my view. And then I read a bit further down. I can't remember where it was. I think can we have our money? Yeah, here it is. It says here, can we get our money back? No. There is no money with which to refund players. Every dollar spent on purchasing the game has gone into development of the game, and Hidden Path has invested 10 times more money than you. So there. That's what they're basically saying. When I read this, I was absolutely flabbergasted. I just couldn't believe it. So they are basically saying that they have spent 10 times more money than they received from the public funds. You know, the public's generosity. And I was thinking, well, yeah, and you're the guys who propositioned this game. You're the guys who created the initiative. So of course it goes without saying that you will spend money on the game out of your own darn pockets. Whether or not it's more or less is irrelevant. Guys, the public, guys and girls, sorry, people have donated, the public rather, have donated their own funds for this game, and you turn around and kick them in the teeth by saying, oh, well, we donated for 10 times more than you. So, that's perfect justification. No, it's not. It stinks. This whole attitude stinks. And this is what I'm talking about. Something needs to be done to stop these companies you can't really describe them as developers or publishers, because they more or less combine the whole thing. It's reshaped the traditional notion of developers and publishers. So these groups, these entities, shall we call them, they can just crop up anywhere. They can just create these companies, some of which have been proven to be bogus, which I will not mention now. They have the potential to rip the consumer off, to basically commit fraud. And as I said, I won't name any names, but it's perfectly possible, and it's very, very easy to do. And so something needs to be done. So let's look at another example. Here we have zombie zoids. I mean, look at that. Look at that picture there. It looks like something from Windows Paint. And, well, basically, zombie zoids was originally called zombie zoids. So basically, the E has now substituted the I. And this was a bundle game. This wasn't crowdfunding, thank God. However, it went through greenlit. And greenlit is more or less part of the whole kind of endeavor initiative to, to bring indie development to the forefront. So greenlit is another a problem area when it comes to games development at the minute. So I think it's one guy, this idiot, I'm not afraid to say it, this bum, I've called him a bum on his own forum, and he still hasn't banned me. I don't know why. Ban me, because I'm not going to stop. Basically, this game was released on one of the Steam bundles that you can get, a bundle of games for a hugely discounted price. However, conveniently, he changed the name. Rather conveniently, he changed the name from Zoids to Zoeds, thereby wiping his hands clean when it came to obligating the keys. So this is no better example than with this review. If you read here, it says, buy a bundle including the game Zombie Zoid. See it gets released on Steam. Check. Check forums for when we'll get our keys, which we paid for. See nothing from the devs. The devs rename Zombie Zoid to Zombie Zoeds to try to get out of obligations to bundle buyers. Sorry, I can't read to save my life. I'm so frustrated with this idiot. He's stolen my money, and I'm not very happy about that. I'm not the only one. He's stolen loads of people's money. Basically, he's tried to commit fraud, and he's changed the name purposefully, perhaps maybe believing that in the court of law he'll be able to claim that it was a totally different game entirely. So this is another reason why something needs to be done about these companies, these Mystic Games, these companies that are cropping up all over the place. Now, enough of this crap game. I will show you Reassembly, which is an amazing game. That is a brilliant game. So now I will go on to my view as to the best policies that need to be employed when it comes to combating this very issue, and that is some sort of intermediary. Some sort of body that will be created to work on behalf of the consumer. Because if we look at the traditional relationship that I briefly talked about before between the developer and the publisher, a very well acknowledged, well-worn relationship that's been going on probably since the dawn of gaming. It has its pros and it has its cons, but the pros are really, really beneficial, and I've taken a lot of the ideas from the pros, and I believe that they can be implemented when it comes to crowdfunding initiatives. So basically, if we look at the traditional relationship between a developer and the publisher, a developer may proposition a publisher and say, look, we want to sell our game, because that's basically what they're doing. They're trying to sell their game idea so that the publisher can do what they do best, and that's market the game. So the publisher may require, that's not may, they will, almost 100% of the time, they will require absolutely everything when it comes to the actual game design itself. They want to see They want to see storyboards, they want to see estimations, they want to see staff numbers, they want to see capabilities, they want to see technical, artistic capabilities, they want to see projections, profit forecasts, they want to see absolutely everything. You know, when I talk about technical capabilities, and projected technical capabilities, things like the computers, you know, time frames, yeah, everything, absolutely everything. And only then will they even contemplate thinking about donating or using their own money to fund this game, because very often they'll turn around and say, you know what, this is crap, goodbye, the door's over there. And if they're very, very lucky, they may say, well, we should change this, and if you change that, and come back in 6 months' time, we might give you a chance. But, you know, between you and me, good luck. You know, it's very, very difficult, but it's there for a purpose. These guys, publishers, they don't want to lose money. These guys want to invest in a product that they feel will be a success. Now, if you look at the crowdfunding, the whole system, the dynamic, it's broken, because we as the consumer, we as the paying public, we who are kind of like acting as the publisher, have nowhere near as much information as a traditional publisher requires. So, for instance, you know, I've just started up a new company, a new gaming idea, which I've added onto Kickstarter, and I have no idea how to program. I've never done it in my life, and I don't know. I'm crap with money. I can't save money to save my life. You know, I'm really terrible with money. I spend all the time. Yeah, that's going to be a recipe for success, surely. No, it's not. This guy obviously has proven that he's not capable, and so that's where this intermediary, this independent, I must stress, this is independent, that works on behalf of the consumer, where they will come in, because what they will do is they will dictate on behalf of the consumer whether or not they can't really dictate, because there are no laws that could really be applied, but they will provide guidance, I would say. So, for instance, they will say, okay, so in order for you to be even considered, you need to have proven that you have a qualification, whether it be an academic qualification, business administration, whether it be some sort of technical qualification to prove that you can do this, that you can manage the money, the huge amount of funds that you will possibly receive, and what you will do with the funds, your projected forecasts, and so, you know, just like a typical publisher. Obviously, as I said before, there is no law, no basis by which we can, by law, that we can guarantee that we can force them to provide this information. But if they don't, then of course, as the consumer who's supporting these type of initiatives, you can turn around and say, well, you know, they haven't fulfilled this obligation. I mean, they're not being forced to, but if they haven't provided it, I'm not going to provide funding for them. And also, this body, this intermediary, can provide some sort of peer review system, and this peer review will be totally independent, and it will be comprised of people who have a respectable background, are very experienced when it comes to the traditional video gaming development and publishing. So, for instance, you could have on the panel someone from Electronic Arts, someone from a small developer like Wadget Eye Games, someone else from blah blah blah, from, I don't know, from Steam, and so forth. I mean, you can get these people on board, and they will peer review, you know, certain projects, especially certain big projects, which will help, once again, to provide another level and barrier of protection for the consumer. As I said, they have no jurisdiction as such, but if those who are propositioning these games, these game ideas, do not follow it, then they will not receive the necessary funds, or they are unlikely to receive the necessary funds. And that's the only way I see. I mean, feel free to comment on my idea, and also feel free to provide your ideas as well. But something definitely needs to be done, especially when it comes to garbage games like Zombie Zodes, which I just laugh at that picture every single time. It's just hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. And Windborne as well. I can't remember who propositioned Windborne, but they were a pretty respected company with experience in games development, and for them to turn around and use these examples for not having released the game is really, really bad news, and that's the reason I'm making this video. So let me know what you think. Should we really be all for this type of intermediary, this group, this I don't like to say this lobby, but this group that works on behalf of the consumer? Is it a good idea? Is it a bad idea? Let me know your thoughts. And so that's it from me. I will go and sod off now. Until next time, I will see you later. Goodbye.